Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today we are here for the final installment of this Christmas Pentatonix Pentathlon, and we are here with Mary Did You Know? Yes, as I've said many times on this series, shocking that I have not seen this video, or if I have, it was so long ago that I do not remember it at all. So this is effectively a first time reaction and full vocal and musical analysis. Guys, it's been such a joy to dive back into Pentatonix and break them down and just remember what makes this group so spectacular. Without further ado, let's dive in. It's gonna be sad to leave this group behind for a little while, but let's give a full reaction analysis for Mary Did You Know by Pentatonix. Here we go. Something I've noticed, I'm learning more about this group as I'm doing these videos. A, this is stunning, first of all. Second of all, they will often add their own totally original introduction to songs that, you know, the melody is very well known. Like this song, First Noel, Carol of the Bells, and I'm sure others, I'm not sure others in this series, but others certainly as well, where they add their own completely original introduction, and it's usually harmonically just very satisfying, and there's usually a swimming kind of atmosphere to it, parts moving in and out, and it really sets us up well for what's to come. I just didn't realize that was like a very obviously a staple of their arrangement process was they'll take the original, they always do a lot of cool stuff with the original material as well, but they generally add their own intro to the song, and it's pretty much always stunning. I mean, this intro here is just gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. Like all these sustain, and then a cascade, then a cascade down, and another sustain. Someone sustains while someone else cascades down underneath it, and vice versa. Beautiful. And ooh vowels, I've always said ooh vowels, mms. Any kind of closed vowel position is going to be a great way to start an arrangement because it blends really well. It's a very kind of subdued, soft sound as far as the harmonic structure, and it gives you a long place to go. If the whole group just came out with a big bite the apple, let it rip intro, we'd have nowhere to go. So it's really great to start a song on a vowel like an ooh that blends well, it's soft, it's beautiful, right? It kind of brings us in. Really, really just a smart way to arrange. There's a really nice dissonance there. Let's see if I can peg that right at the end of that last cascade. I think it's G and A. I think that's the crunch happening. I don't want to spend too much time there, but that's what it sounds like to me on first pass. Another suspension there at the end. So G to F sharp suspension there right at the end. Oh no, that wasn't it. What was it? It was something else. I keep hearing that, but now my ear wants to go to that, and it doesn't want to hear the actual suspension. Oh God, there it is. Okay, B natural to A sharp or B to B flat. Ooh. Sometimes you can get stuck, man. B B flat. Okay.
Mary, did you know that your baby boy would one day walk on water? Mary, did you know that your baby boy would save our sons and daughters?
That is just two excellent voices back to back. Meh. So we're in B minor, relative minor of D major. So Scott's starting there on that B2. Mary, did you know? I believe this is also another one of their really early videos. So the video quality itself is not at the level of a First Noel or a Sugar Plum Fairy. It's just a little back, and again, they are in the process of polishing their skills as music video performers. So if you look at Scott's lip sync, it's like a little wonky at times, right? Not really nailing the lip sync yet. It's just amazing that like you have this celebrity level group at this point now that like once was a more newly formed group that like had things to learn about how to make music videos, and even like the audio and everything gets better based on the engineers they're working with or whatever. So it's also been cool to go 10 years back, right when they were kind of popping off, to see what their content looked like versus how it looked just a couple years later, and then of course nowadays. Really just fascinating to see that progression. All the while, they've always been the world-class mega talents. They were that before they got any fame. Back in high school, they were unbelievably talented, destined for greatness, right? So it's just cool to see how it's more than just being a world-class singer. Like it's all of these skills build together, and it takes time. It does take time. I mean, they blew up, but for most people, it takes a long time to build a large following as a musical artist, and it's cool to see the progression. TLDR, very cool to see their progression.
Mary, did you know that your baby boy would one day walk on water? Mary, did you know that your baby boy would save our sons and daughters?
Both opting for a very kind of intimate place to start. Something I love about Avi's approach is that he allows vibrato to come in on that top note. Mary, did you know? Instead of Mary, did you know? Mary, did you know? He allows that vibrato to come in. Something he always has the ability to turn on. And I would say Scott does as well. I just generally, probably because of my operatic background, I like to hear a little vibrato come in, as long as it doesn't interfere with blending, because vibrato just doesn't blend as well. So unless you're the soloist, very likely straight tone is going to be the best option, unless you're going for a certain kind of effect. So in a solo, it's always nice to hear a little vibrato come in. But both keeping it very breathy, intimate, soft, easy singing.
Mary, did you know that your baby boy would save our sons and daughters? Did you know that your baby boy has come to make you new? This child that you delivered will soon deliver you.
Oh my God, I love this arrangement. Oh, this duet between Scott and Avi is just absolutely gorgeous. And then the background parts too, the chord progression that's being utilized is just, gosh, it really adds to it.
Did you know that your baby boy...
Are they doing thirds? No. Let's see if what they're doing. I think they're probably doing thirds. That's generally what works best in a harmony like this, where you're just harmonizing with a melody. Usually thirds work. You don't want to do parallel fifths. That's like a big no-no in arranging or choral composition. So they're likely doing, stacked thirds, which harmonize really well and generally don't interfere with the harmonic structure.
Daughters, did you know that your baby boy has come to make you new. This child that you delivered will soon deliver you.
There you go. So use of opening the vowel to increase intensity and lead into the next section. So we have, that's a great way to do that. And you don't even have to sing louder. It's just by opening the vowel up, it increases the harmonic series basically, which psychoacoustically makes us like feel like the sound is more intense. And it will make it by a decibel volume louder if you're allowing more sound to escape. Of course, in this kind of studio recording situation, all the audio is very compressed and edited, so we're not going to get a true volume response really, because the song is going to be a very similar volume the whole way throughout. But we do feel that intensity, and because we feel that intensity because of the increase in the harmonic series towards the top of that spectral envelope of the sound, we feel like it's getting more intense, and we're like, oh God, something's coming. It's just a really great way to do that. Just open up the vowel from or oo to ah.
Will soon deliver you.
Mary, did you know that your baby boy will give sight to a blind man? Mary, did you know that your baby boy will calm the storm with his hand? Did you
Love hearing different singers with different voice types sing the exact same melody, and so you can just hear how their voices function on the same pitches. So we get this nice compare and contrast between Kirsty and Mitch. Obviously, you know, very different voices, but singing the same exact pitches here, right?
Mary, did you know that your baby boy will give sight to a blind man? Mary, did you know that your baby boy will calm the storm with his hand? Did you know that your baby boy has walked where angels trod? When you kiss your little baby, you kiss the face of God.
Really nice. We got some stacked third harmonies as well here, and this time in the, you know, higher upper chest belt range. So these sounds in an acoustic setting would be much louder. We obviously don't get that. Again, we can feel the intensity. We can tell these sounds would be louder, but we don't actually get the true volume in the studio recording. But yeah, really nice, high quality, good vocal fold efficiency, good closure, good support on those belt harmonies. Scott is really tall, isn't he? I was trying to figure out in another video if he or Kevin was taller. I assume they were both like 6'2"-ish. I think Avi and I are about the same height, 5'9" or so. It's also hard to tell because, you know, there's like depth of field. But yeah, dude, Kevin and Scott, tall dudes.
Your baby boy will calm the storm with his hand. Did you know that your baby?
So that's... Good Lord. Oh, so they've gone to the D, they've gone to the relative major. So we were in B minor for a while, now we're technically in D major. It's the same notes, the same key, it's just where you're kind of placing the harmonic importance, or like the center of gravity. There it is, the center of gravity to the harmonic structure. Now we're in D major. So I was wondering how high those notes were. That was Kirsty belting up to a D5 above tenor high C, D5 and C sharp 5. And with extremely high quality. And while that is extremely high for a male voice to belt that high, it is still high for a female voice to belt that high in pure chest connection. You have to have training. And to do it without any grit in the sound, without any extra air, you've got to have vocal fold strength. So she's got that going on. And there's a harmony happening below her as well, probably from Mitch.
Did you know
Scott. And Mitch.
Has walked where angels trod. When you kiss your little baby, you kiss
Really nice. Really nice. I love Mitch's voice. It's so good. And allowing that vibrato to come in at the end, which also I love. Just a really well-delivered line.
You kiss the face of God.
So now we're back into B minor. Wow, the audio editing, very cool there as well. I love Pentatonix will often have at least one of these sections, at least in their Christmas music, where, like I said earlier, I think at the very beginning, it's very swimmy. It's almost fugue-like. They do actually do some fugue style singing in some of these videos. I think Carol the Bells, they did a couple, but this one's more swimmy. It's like cascade here, cascade there. Someone's holding when a cascade's going. Someone's holding here while a cascade's going. And it's all these moving parts and them really trading off. So everyone's singing, but you can tell the feature is going from one singer to the next. And it just makes for a very interesting down section. It feels like they could pretty much put that anywhere in one of these Christmas songs and it works, which is really cool because they've done something like that in most of these songs. Scott, Mitch, Scott, Kirsty, Kev, Avi. See how it's trading? And then it goes from feeling like atmospherically out here to the editing like coming back here to sound more like a studio. It sounds more organic in that down section. It sounds more natural, more kind of acoustic. And then they go into this next section and it like comes back. It's like, okay, we're back in the studio. And notice how no voice is louder than the other one, but you still hear the feature. Was that a little grit in there? Scott, was that a little grit in the sound? I love it. The dad puts a little grit on dad. Okay, yeah, we are in B minor. Vibrato, yes. I love when Pentatonix does a big sustained belt. Some of the great belting I remember in, I think it's their cover of Sound of Silence, just some big sustained harmonies on belts. It's so thrilling. And Scott gets up pretty high here, I think. Up to F. So F sharp 4, G4 for Scott. Very solid, still sounds very comfortable. He could definitely push higher, carry that chest voice higher if he wants. Again, Kirsty and maybe Mitch as well on the D5 and C sharp 5. And then Avi dropping down to an F sharp 2. Just to kind of underline, kind of give him a nice vocal spread there. One more time.
Mary, did you know that your baby boy is Lord of all creation?
They also another thing I'm noticing their arrangements. They often will feature Kevin as they're getting into like the final section of the song, like moving towards, not in the final section, but towards the final section, they will throw Kevin, they'll take the vocal percussion out and they'll throw Kevin a solo. I think that's happened in multiple arrangements as well, which I love it. I love it when Kevin sings. He's got a beautiful voice in addition to his exceptional vocal percussion. But I think that's another kind of staple. So we have these original intros, we have these swimmy fugue-like breakdowns, and we have throwing Kevin a solo in the latter half of the song.
Mary, did you know that your baby boy is Lord of all creation?
And notice how he flips up to head voice there for his solo. So that's up to F sharp 4. Kevin could belt that high, but obviously we're in a very soft, intimate down section. It makes more sense for him to approach it. Mary, did you know? Very lightly put it up in the falsetto.
Baby boy is Lord of all creation.
Just the high notes for him. I was doing it all in falsetto.
Did you know that your baby boy would one day rule the nation? Did you know that your baby boy is heaven's perfect lamb that's sleeping?
See, that's just totally different than what we've heard before. Just boom, 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 boom from Avi and Kevin working together, and then harmonies, just stacked harmonies, no fugue, like no swimminess whatsoever, just highlighting the bass line and just simple chord progression, but like a totally different vibe from what we've heard before. Keeping it interesting.
Would one day rule the nation? Did you know that your baby boy is heaven's perfect lamb? That sleeping child you're holding is the great I am.
This is absolutely killer. Tons of exciting high belts. Avi, pretty chill actually. Doom, 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 doom. Just kind of like highlighting that bass line. Kevin still with mostly kick snare. And then we have these huge like waterfall level belt lines, these descending belt lines from Kirsty Scott Mitch. That nice leading tone. That B flat or A sharp, I guess technically, from Mitch leading into that high B, and it just gives that's called a leading tone, and it really leads us to the next chord. It gives us that sense of anticipation. So Kirsty and Mitch are just hammering away at these high B naturals and chest voice. I think Scott had D, F sharp, E, D from Scott there underneath those high belts having from Mitch and Kirsty. And then a nice highlighted low F sharp from Avi there on the bass. He was just doing dum dum dums, but on this last chord he opens up to O to match Mary Did You Know. So that works. That's a nice blend. Another staple of their arrangements, they often have a very intimate, kind of acoustically different, just kind of like send-off line. Like very studio, big high belts, everything, and then we have this last line that's, I think they're just in pure unison with different octaves. And just a very simple delivery of the final line. I think they've done that in multiple arrangements as well.
Mary, did you know?
The kings of a cappella Christmas music. I will absolutely die on that hill. They have so many of, like, at this point, maybe not even just the most popular a cappella Christmas music. They have some of the most popular Christmas music. I mean, this video has almost 300 million views, 1,000 times more than 300,000. Humans were not meant to grasp numbers that big. Once it gets up to a certain point, it's like, it's a big number. 300 million is an absurd number of views. Guys, what a joy this has been to dive back into this amazing group. I'm just like, I love them. I have fallen back in love with them over the course of this week, and I hope you have too. I hope you've gained so much appreciation for everything Pentatonix does so well. Like I said earlier, spread musical appreciation and musical enjoyment as far and wide as I possibly can. That is the mission of this channel. If I'm doing that, please do consider joining my Patreon. It's the best way to support me as a creator, artist, educator, all that. And please do leave a like and comment on your way out, and subscribe if you haven't, and hit the bell. All those things, all super helpful for the channel. Guys, this has been a joy. And at this point, we're just a few days away from Christmas. So go have yourselves a Merry Christmas. Drink the hot chocolate, spend time with family. I'm just stoked. I'm stoked and I'm grateful. And have a Merry Christmas. Bye-bye, everyone.